The regulator are saying that the system is illegal because we are systematically denying loans to a protected group. So how do we take care of this problem from the compliance perspective? So this is the difference between 27001 and 42001, right? 27001 is the container. It's a container. It's what keeps the system in place. But the 42001 focuses on the content, what's inside that system. We have always focused on confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So we always ask the question, is the data safe from the theft? Is the data resilient? Is it robust, which can't be modified? But from the 42001 perspective, we focus on transparency, controllability, and especially ethics. So if we go back to our banking example, the 42001 will ask the question that, is this model behaving as intended? Is this model behaving as intended? So that means that this compliance will make sure that we don't have any biases. It will make sure that, can we explain any reasons? Like there should be a complete transparency, right? AI model makes decisions which are really good, but at the same time, they can also make mistakes. So in those scenarios, we have to have a way to know why a certain decision was made. So if we go back in the banking example, there should be a way for a human intervention to see why a loan was denied. The AI system can't just say that, okay, your loan is denied. So in that case, let's say anyone between the age of 18 to 23 goes into bank for a loan and they get denied. And banker just says that, okay, our AI model is not allowing you to have a loan. That's that's not fair, right? That should be an explanation why the loan is being denied. So we need transparency. We need to control the model, right? So in some cases, let's say a bias is introduced, we need to control and tune the model. So that's one of the things, and it should always comply by the ethics. Ethics are important, and the bottom line is we asked the question: is the model behaving as intended, and is can we explain why it's behaving like this? Now you would think that two different compliance, a lot of work, and why would I even do that, right? Uh, but there is a special annex called Annex SL, which mandates that these two standards have a shared structure. So you don't need two parallel structures. You just need to find a way around. Like you just need to integrate. You can reuse a lot of your work from 27001, management approvals, administrative work, all those things. Once you are certified with 27001, you can use almost 70% of the administrative work for this ISO 42001. Now let's talk about some of the case studies, right? So we are talking about different industries and what it would look like for different industries. So in this example, we are focusing on medical. Uh, since the start of the AI has always been used for diagnosis. So if we look from the X-ray, it might be tough for us to decide where a tumor exists, right? There is no way for us to all be confident that, okay, there is a tumor or there is no tumor, right? So that's why AI system has always been integrated with medical examiners. So imagine that a doctor is using a software, a AI system that is analyzing an X-ray and finding out the tumors. So from the ISO 27001, which is a security layer, it will always ensure that patient images are encrypted, right? You are not leaking any patient data. There is no way to identify a customer from just an X-ray. but it doesn't ensure the quality of the X-ray. So that's where ISO 42001 steps in. Imagine that X-ray is blurry, right? A patient has a tumor, it's a really big one, but the photo was never taken, like the X-ray was never taken perfectly. It had some quality issue due to machinery or smudges or whatever. So in that case, AI can inaccurately, like falsely, identify that that is no tumor, and or that's possible for the other way around as well, right? So in some cases, AI can also decide wrongly that okay, you have a big tumor, right? Just from someone's fingerprint on the X-ray, AI can say that okay, you have a big tumor, and doctor will immediately start you on some high dose of medicine or therapy, radiation therapy. That would be really bad for the patient, right? So we require a human oversight. We require some way for for someone professional in the industry to oversee the decision of AI. AI cannot diagnose. So in that case, this should only be used as a reference or a tool. So that's one of the requirement from the AI governance layer. It also makes sure, like it also ensures the robustness, right? So in the first example, that there was some smudges on the X-ray, and AI inaccurately identified a tumor. But ideal situation is that AI must fail safely. It should just say that, okay, I don't know what to do here. I don't know what is going on here. This is wrong, or something like that. If the image quality is poor, just never guess. So that's the main thing behind robustness. Never guess. Let's talk about second scenario, the banker scale. So uh, in US, historically, there was a period of time where loans were denied, like home loans were denied for a specific protected class of a group, right? So just based on the race or a zip code, basically, for example, let's say a group lives in certain area, then any home loans from there would be denied. So if AI makes those kind of decisions, that would be really bad. So from ethics point of view, this is not compliant. So this system is not compliant with that 42001. Even though in 27001, a bank can protect its integrity of the model, right? No unauthorized person would be able to change the model, right? No one can just go inside the system, like break into it and change the AI model. But even if the AI model is not modified, there should be an impact assessment, a test for biases. There should be standardized testing for AI models, which is available through OWASP. But that should be done, right? That's what we are here to make sure through the compliance for all kind of possible biases that are specific to this industry, that are specific to this application, like tailored to this application. It should be done, and we should do the impact assessment. At the same time, we should have explainability, right? If any loan is denied, any decision is made by the AI model, provide a reason. Provide a reason why it was denied. AI is being used in robotics too, right? Uh, in this example, we are talking about a factory where robotic arms are used, right? It's already there, and on the supply chain, the robotic arms pick up something, drop it somewhere else. That's the core of this AI system. So through the 27001, we ensure that network is segmented, right? We make sure that corporate Wi-Fi is not getting access to this firmware of the robotic arm. Like no attacker is getting inside the robotic arm, like making it go spin or not, or anything like that. So that's what we are here to make sure with security layer. But with AI governance layer, we manage the physical risk of modern drift, where the system life cycle. We monitor that if the model's accuracy is degraded over the time, right? Let's say a screw inside the model robotic arm gets loose. Excuse me. Let's say a screw inside the robotic arm gets loose, then the accuracy of the AI model will drop drastically because it has to adjust for those kind of new weights or new operations, right? So the system life cycle portion of the governance layers, it mandates that that should be a way. That should be a way for the for someone to do continuous detection. That should be a way to do continuous detection of degrading accuracy. So over time, that should be a way for us to see if it's not working as expected. So we can like recalibrate or scrap it altogether. So this will prevent a lot of catastrophe because in factories and a lot of big facilities, the robotic arms are really huge. And if there is some degradation or even if they are randomly like spinning, they that can cause a lot of physical damage, with a lot of people in the hospital. So let's talk about the energy sector, right? It's the lifeline. It's the lifeline of the whole United States, like sorry, for the whole world. So it's a lifeline. So any any power outage, that's going to cause a catastrophic effect for industries. So in United States, they use AI models to optimize power distribution and predict consumption spikes. So let's take this scenario. So it's already well-known fact that electricity usage is not constant. So let's say in a winter, you're using a lot of electricity to start your heater. In summer, you're using it for air conditioning, right? On one day, it might get really hot. That's where you are drawing a lot of power from the grid. So for those situations, uh, the energy grid needs to compensate. It needs to start a new, let's say, a power plant, ramp up the energy production, or even scale down. So they need to accurately predict consumption spike at what time users are going to electricity most. So that's why they use AI models and technology to do this. So security layer, there are several integrity checks, really strict integrity checks on data stream, like how AI model is getting the data from systems, SCADA systems. So let's say someone is not feeding false data. Someone should not just falsify the data that okay, everyone is using that air conditioner, all our air conditioners at once. So that's a false data that is protected by the security layer. So we need integrity checks on the CIA. But at the same time, from the 42001, we need robustness, right? Let's say in extreme weather, like a snowstorm or something that disrupts the internet, network latency, right? So it comes up really often. We can say that like sometimes there is some power line outage, or even some cable gets broken, internet cable. In that case, AI must revert to a lower risk, like non-AI based or non-network related uh, predictions. So that way we are we are not going to a blackout. So we are ensuring that AI system is working perfectly. Same goes for oil and gas pipelines, right? So almost uh, a huge chunk of our world is covered with oil pipelines, just traveling from one country to another. So uh, a lot of companies, they use some sort of sensors, AI-based sensor, to predict if there is going to be an outage, if there is going to be a leak. So let's say a pipeline runs hundreds of miles, right? on three like 200-300 kilometers. And if there is a break in between, the company needs to shut down this pipeline. So there is no so it doesn't cause any fire or harm any human, right? So that's where they use AI systems. The AI system will constantly monitor the sensors and also predict from the images if there is a leak or if there is going to be a leak, right? So in that case, you can prevent. If you can see that a pipe is starting to wear down, if something is getting to be broken soon, AI can predict that, okay, you need to fix it. So in that case, if you have planned the repairs, you are saving a lot of money on completely shutting down the whole pipe. So for this system, our security layer will constantly like secure, monitor logs, and make sure that it has the privilege access to prevent unauthorized manual overrides, right? So if AI is saying that there is a break in the pipeline, there shouldn't be a way for some random guy to come in and say that, okay, this is like unauthorized. I'm saying the word keyword here is unauthorized to manually override, right? If someone just comes in, breaks the pipe, and slaps a sticker on that, that kind of situation, that situation should be prevented. We should also have some sort of explainability. Right? So that should be auditable reason to justify the shutdown, right? Each shutdown costs millions of dollars. So AI should always provide high confidence, accurate, and a reasonable explanation why it's shutting down this pipeline. So that's a key point, explainability. Hmm. Yeah. So going back to the our ISO standards, this can serve as a blueprint. This can serve as your unified risk register, right? So what kind of risk is going to be for what kind of compliance? So let's say if a risk is unauthorized access to a training data, then that's going to be ISO 27001. And in cases such as prompt injection, which are more common nowadays, where an attacker goes inside a system and perform some sort of prompt injection. So they'll modify the instructions to the AI model, which will corrupt the model output. So this is a case where both compliance should get together, like should be covering this kind of situation. So the ISO 27001, it should be validating what kind of input is being passed to the model. And at the same time, even if a bad input is passed to the model, the 42001 ensures that the model behavior is correct. It's not going bad, or it's not doing anything wrong in cases such as prompt injection. And if we talk about the bias, right? So the all AI model has the bias uh, that should be covered through ISO 42001 as a fairness testing, right? If the model is fair, if a model is free from any biases as much as possible. So, as an auditor, what are some critical things that you should keep in mind, right? You should make sure that the AI software development lifecycle, so AI model goes through a rigorous process of design, implementation, testing, and finally deployment. This process alone takes a lot of time for any specific model. It takes from a year to 2 years, right? So there are two critical points that we have added inside the software development lifecycle that should be that's something you should always make sure that present. One is data selection. So when a software developer or even a data scientist, machine learning engineer, whoever is designing the AI model, they should communicate properly with the auditor. Usually there is a gap. that machine learning engineers, why do they need to talk to auditors or explain everything, right? So on previous standards, that was the case, right? They all like auditors only need to talk to any security engineer or SOC analyst. But now we are in the age of AI. Any mistake in AI is going to have a drastic butterfly effect on everyone. So as auditors, it's our job to make sure that it's data selection is a really huge part of the software development life cycle. So when a database is collected, right, for the AI model, we should make sure that data does not have any bias. It's not corrupt. It's the quality is high. So that kind of thing we need to make sure in that case. And then comes the constant evaluation. So once a model is designed, like any version of a model is designed, machine learning engineers constantly do some sort of testing, right? They they test for accuracy, they test for speed, they test for cost, all those things. We just add several other checks for ourselves to ensure that model is fair, transparent, and all other things. So that's on top of standard security checks. in in some cases, such as like third-party models, right? So let's say you're auditing a pipeline company or even a hospital. Let's say you're auditing a hospital and they are using a third company and using them and using their AI models and AI services to classify tumors. So as auditor, we should assess third-party AI services too. Whatever is inside, whatever is being used should be audited. Doesn't matter who created it, right? So we should assess those situation for data protection, ethical usage, transparency, everything. The one important distinction here from regular compliance is the kill switch, right? You should have a documented way and tested procedure for emergency rollback. Think of it like a power plant that is about to explode, right? That should be a button that someone can just slam to prevent everything from going bad. So uh, that kind of kill switch should be documented, properly tested for rollback. Like, let's say they come up with a really new and brand new, really accurate model, uh, and they deploy it, right, without a lot of testing because they are really excited and they just want to make it to production. So they deploy it, and suddenly people start noticing that, okay, this model is racist. So in that case, that should be a kill switch that can instantly switch back, decommission this model and switch back to something else, something that is tested, something that is robust, right? So that kind of emergency rollback or immediate decommissioning of the model should be there. So how would you create your proper secure kingdom, right? In the age of AI, you assess, you identify all the AI systems inside the kingdom, which is whatever company you're auditing, and identify what AI systems are there, what are the unique risks for that specific use case. This is what makes this the standard different, right? It's case by case basis. So for the specific industry, for a specific kingdom, you need to identify those AI systems and figure out what's their risk, what would be a crazy thing, crazy bad, right? And then you integrate. Then you start integrating 42001 controls into your existing framework. Once you identify the risk, you start integrating controls. You implement documented way to test, implement a kill switch, constantly monitor a framework to constantly monitor and test for those things. And you just formalize. Then we just certify and formalize the integrated management system. So yeah, the last thought would be trust is the new currency in the age of AI, right? How do you trust, especially with this all new image generation models, video generation? How do you trust something? So trust is the new currency, where 27001 secures the bank, but 42001 will ensure that the currency still holds its value. So yeah, that's it from my side. Uh, Handing over to Gauri.
Wow, Malav, I must say that the examples and the way you have used your creativity was something new for the today's session. And yes, without any wasting time, I'm sure the participants must be having a lot of questions. So the question floor has officially opened. If you have any questions for Malav, please it's your chance to just go ahead and ask him in the chat box. We're waiting for it. Yes, Malav, do you mind if I just take control over the screen sharing? Yes,
Sure.
thank you. Malav, we have one question from the live session. It's from Rohit. How can ISO 27001 controls be embedded into each stage of the AI system lifecycle, from data collection to model deployment and monitoring?
That's that's good, really good question. Mm. So we need to make sure that the security, right, is not just reactive. We need to make sure that it's proactive. Mm. So that's where you need to sit down with the actual designer of the model, actual software developers, machine learning engineers, to understand the model. What's their unique software development lifecycle? Then you need to figure out how they are collecting the data, and you figure out any weak points, right? So let's say there is a banking application where they are trying to develop a AI model to approve loans, right? So in that case, once they collect the data, you need to that should be a way to evaluate the quality of that data from the ethics and compliance point of view. So one example is that uh, in past, machine learning engineers collected a lot of loan approvals and denial data from the internet, right? And the way they collected data was really bad. So they collected only the approvals from the male applicants. So in that case, the AI model learned that okay, only males should be approved for a loan. So that kind of thing can only be prevented if you have a proper checks when data is being collected, and that's the data collection part. And then there is continuous testing. So AI models happen in really small iterations. They constantly release like a new version. So which is like 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. They like internal releases. They constantly uh, deploy something, then they modify, tweak by something, and then do the testing. So in model testing, machine learning engineers, they have their own framework. They have their own framework to make sure that it's not costly. It's not going to rack up billions in NVIDIA chips or something like that. So that's where you need to come in and say that, okay, this is a small portion of compliance, add it to your testing, and make sure that it's transparent, ethical, and robust, right? So that's how you integrate into the pipeline. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, definitely it does. That was very insightful. And yes, there is one more question from Angelina. How can organizations ensure continuous compliance with ISO 27001 as AI models evolve or retrain over time?
Mhm. Yeah, so then I'll go back to the my previous question where we evaluate the data quality and constantly test. There should be some automated way, right? OWASP provides OWASP provides a checklist for testing AI models. So that should be an automated testing script which evaluates all the new models that are coming out with all those 10 checklists, right? So that will ensure that continuous compliance is in place.
I hope like if anyone is having more question, they can drop them in the chat box. Otherwise, I will be taking one more uh, last question from the live stream itself, and it's about how can organizations ensure continuous compliance with ISO 27001 as the demonstrating compliance for AI-driven processes during audits?
I think that's the same as before, right?
No, like it's related to the for AI-driven processes during the audits, like the practices that best support the whole process of the AI-driven models during the audits.
Mm. I don't know if I understand the question correctly, but is the
Okay,
question regarding, yeah, sorry.
I will read it again. What governance structure practices best support demonstrating ISO 27001 compliance for AI driven processes during the audits?
Mhm. I need to look into this question. Sorry about that.
Okay. Okay. No problem. So, in that case, I guess so far we have had this many questions. And thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of today's session. We have gained insights from Malav, and it's been very inspiring. And now, before we wrap up, Malav, we would love to hear your final thoughts, any closing message if you would like to leave with us from today's session.
The only final thought is that AI is constantly evolving, right? So we should have a way to integrate into our auditing process as well. So not completely relying on AI, but especially using it as a part of our toolbox. I think that's it.
Okay. Cool. I guess there are like couple of questions in the chat box. If you would like to, I work in a banking and financial sector. Please, from a supervisory perspective, what best practices can regulators adopt to assess whether banks have adequately embedded ISO 27001 information security principles into their AI governance framework, especially when AI models rely on sensitive customer and transaction data?
Mhm. That's a good question. So there are several masking techniques that are used when working with a sensitive data. So that should be a way for like data collection. So there is a different section of data collection in the AI pipeline, right? So a different way of collecting data from various systems. It should be it could be credit card, bank accounts, or anything like that. So in that case, you should always mask the data. So there shouldn't be any way for someone to identify user from that data. So even before it goes into AI, excuse me, even before it goes into the AI, you should have a way to just remove all the names from the database, any birth date, social security number, any like identifiable traits like address, birth date. So those kind of data masking techniques would be really important when you are processing a sensitive customer and transaction data.
Very informative. Yeah, moving forward to the next one. During the audit practice, what are the governance control are essential for ISO 42001?
So it should be important to focus on a clear framework. Like there should be a clear framework, established process, which makes sure that you have a responsible and ethical AI use across the organization, right? You should make sure that it goes through the complete organization pipeline, and no one is exempt from that. So a clear framework that can be replicated by anyone. Let's say right now you are evaluating 5 AI models for a for a company, right? There should be an established framework designed specifically for that company, so that in future, if they integrate 2 more or 5 more models, they can rely on that to make sure that and they are following the same best practices for new things as well.
Perfect. So I guess that was the last question. Once again, thank you so much for your insightful session, Malav. And yeah, I must say there was something creative about the session, as well as uh, so much of the information. And yes, to everyone who joined us today, I thank you them personally too. And yes, Malav, if you have anything else to say, please add on. I have already shared Malav's links in the chat box, so you can connect with him personally on LinkedIn. And yes, any final thoughts, Malav?
No, thanks guys for joining, and thanks GSTC for this opportunity to connect with you guys.
Of course, it's a pleasure. So before you guys go, I have quick announcement. If you're ready for the certification, you can opt it right now from the website. We're giving a complimentary coupon code to all participants, which gives you 20% off. And I'm sharing the link along with the code in the chat box. So don't miss out on this opportunity. You can find the more details in the chat box for today's certification. And also, this is something very special which we call utility tool. As you know that today's world is full of competition, so many participants are already exploring GSDC's utility tool, as it's designed to make your job hunting journey much easier. Creating standout resume and professional LinkedIn profile is definitely more important than ever, and that's why utility tool is here for to help you guys. And the best part is it's available to all participants at 100% discount, so go ahead and make the most of it. I'm also sharing the link to it, so you can start using your utility tool from today. And this is tomorrow's speaker, Joel Norris, a cybersecurity expert and advisor who will be giving us a lot of insights on ISO 42001 lead auditor training from fundamentals to certification. Same time, December 5th for tomorrow. And we have also side by side learning in practice real world L&D case studies across industries session going on, which starts right after this session. So if you're interested, there's a lot of amazing panels of expert already aligned, in case you would like to check that out. And this is the AI implementation series, which has been going on too, from 1st to 5th December, and also for the upcoming weeks, 7:30 a.m. CST, 9:30 p.m. SGT. And now it's finally time to celebrate the referral champions. A big shout out to Astik, Rakesh, and Bandi for making our initiative bigger and helping us reach so many more people. And you can be a part of this too. All you have to do is just invite your colleagues to our webinar by sharing the registration link on gsdccouncil.org. Every referral earns you a point to climb up the ladder board, and the top 3 leaders on the ladder bidder get a chance to receive a complimentary voucher worth $400 from GSTC. And if you're interested in becoming one of the speakers for Learning Capsule, webinar, podcast, you can reach out to me on gauri@gsdccouncil.org. Also, we would love to hear from you guys. So please follow us on LinkedIn, visit our website, and you can also join our WhatsApp chat, and you can share your takeaway from today's session on reviews.io. So I'm hoping to see you all tomorrow, same time. And thank you so much, everyone who joined today, especially my love. And yes, I look forward seeing you all soon. Thank you so much.